Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and today I want to unbox the Perform X bow for PSE. It's new for 2018 and we've been waiting for these bows for ages to come in. Now, the bow was actually released in about September, I think, maybe a bit before that, August. It was released at the US Nationals. Now, dealers have been struggling to get these. They've been rare as. So they did have, PSE did have the Perform 3Ds out first, but it's abnormal for PSE, but these have a huge weight and not all the colors have come in. But what I want to do is show you is the colors that I've got so far, and to show you what they look like. Now, the box to start off with looks like this. Punch. That's the PSE box. Obviously not as good as the black Hoyt box. The black Hoyt box with the red writing looks amazing, but you know. So this is the gold. Now this is the bow I'm going to be shooting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video on this bow, just shooting it today and putting it through the chronograph and seeing how it is. Now, I have been shooting the 3D, so I will be able to compare it to the 3D Perform. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this bow up for target archery, and we're going to compare it. We'll set it up and see how it shoots with target. And then I'm going to do a video comparing this bow to the other top line bows like the Hoyt Prevail and the Matthews TRXs and the How Long comps on speed and weight, adjustability, shootability, how they feel. Because as a user, I can't really remember what they're like that much, even though they're in my shop. And I'm just going to, try one against the other and see how they feel. So this is the gold. It's a really nice gold color with the yellow strings. Really nice looking bow. That's 40 inches axle. Very adjustable in draw length. From, I'm going to get it wrong, but if I look on the tag, it'll be right. It may be right, sometimes it's wrong. It's adjustable from 26.5 to 32 inches in draw length. It's adjustable from 65 to 75% in let off. And 7-inch brace height, speed of 332 feet per second. And I'm going to be very interested to see what the speed is through the chronograph compared to the 3D, because that 3D was just blistering fast. So the Perform comes in a whole heap of different colors for 2018. This one is the Saturn Mercury. And what this is, it's a polished chrome. So that's it there. It's a very high gloss silver. So that's the Saturn Mercury. Now, many of the colors that are new for this year I haven't got in. The dark cherry is a very dark. It's a little bit redder than the normal red. Now the green's interesting to me because I sold a green like last week to a customer, and this one came in. I think I've sold this one, and the customer is going to say, yeah, you have sold it because I've told you I want it, but I haven't sent it out yet. But I believe this is going to an Australian champion in WA, young Darnie. So that's the green now. It's almost like an emerald color green. It's really nice. The Perform 3D and the Super is a lighter green. Still nice. It's more of a lime green. This is more of an emerald green. So don't ask me which green you're going to get when you order. But this is quite nice. It's a very rich color with the green strings. It looks nice. This one's the Platinum. Platinum, it was in 2017 the most popular colour. It's almost like a, I would call it like a gunmetal grey. It's not a black, it's a dark grey, but it's got a lot of high gloss chrome finish to it. So that's it there. It's a really nice colour, and to me it's almost a shade darker than the Supra from last year. Now it may not be, and I haven't held them alongside of each other, but just to look at from a distance, this bow does look a little bit darker than the titanium from last year. It's just, yeah, it's a really nice colour though. Like, I kind of almost want to change my colour preference to that bow because it's really nice. And the last colour I have, I did order all the colours. And this is the red. Now, it's a nice red, and to me it's pretty much the same as the PSE reds in the past from the red Supras. It's a kind of a high polished red. The dark cherry is a red which is slightly darker. So it's a slightly darker anodized red than this. It's almost hard to see the difference when you hold them alongside of each other. They do stand out different. So with that, I want to put a whisker biscuit on this, put a hunting sight on this bow, go and shoot it at 18 meters and put it through the chronograph, see how it feels to shoot, and see how I shoot at 18 meters with it. And then on the next video, I'm going to set this all up for target archery and see how I shoot with it. So I've just fitted a basic hunting sight to the bow, basic whisker biscuit and a D-loop. No peep sight. This is what I do with all my tests. And the first thing we're going to do is try drawing this bow back. Now what I did, which was something a little bit abnormal for me, I've done a few reviews before, is I weighed the weight of this bow before I came here. Now it weighed 5.6 pounds. That's with the sight and the arrow rest, which to me is like really heavy, and it felt heavy as a bow. So what I did is I grabbed the Hoyt Prevail, and I think it's a 37-inch bow I've got in my shop. And I thought, well, let's just compare the weight with that. Now, that bow without the sight was 5 pounds. So this bow to me feels heavier than the Hoyt Prevail. And this is an issue if you're going from a light bow to a heavy bow. Now, if you get used to this bow, you'll shoot fine. But if you're just going to go from like a 3 pound or 3.6 pound bow straight to a bow like this, which is 2 pounds heavier, you're going to fatigue, you're going to shake around, and it's going to take you a while to build up that strength. So it's actually going to take you a while to improve. Now, I had this same problem when I went to the PSE Expression. My scores took a hit to start with, and it probably took me about 2 months to see an improvement. And I just had to build my strength to get used to it. Now I've added more weight to that bow. So for me, going from the Expression to this bow is not an issue because the weight's about the same, and I'm physically stronger than I was back then in a shooting way, not probably lifting weights way. So let's just try the draw stop. Let's just try the draw sequence on this. Now with the cams on the Evolve bow, on the Perform, you have the Evolve twin cams, which is just a rotating module. So basically you don't need a bow press, and you can change the let off just by moving that position there backwards or forwards. Moving it this way reduces the let off, moving that way increases the let off. So currently it's on maximum let off, so this should be 75% let off. This bow's on this bow's a 60 pound bow, should be on 29 inches. And I'll just go through the features. Sorry, I just want to shoot the bow. It's got a flexible cable guard, which is adjustable left to right. It's got a lower mount stabilizer hole just down there. They've changed from a metal rod to a carbon rod for the string stop. The bow has multiple sight positions there, so you can move your sight up or down on the riser. It's yeah, the Evolve cam system has been really popular for PSE, and they switched to it for their target model in 28 from the hybrid cam system. So let's just try the draw cycle. So to start with, it's solid. It's solid, right? It's not like this floppy stuff to start with. This is like, you can feel it before I even pull it back. So it's solid, 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 solid. Starting to valley, valley, dead stop. Now I'm going to try to pull it hard. There's no movement at the back wall. So I'm just going to let this bow down. So what PSE have done with this draw cycle, basically it starts off rock hard. It's not like a gradual build. This bow starts off hard, and then when it gets into the valley, it's like, so you don't have that wanting to pull forward on your arm all the time if you just let off the pressure. It's a very easy into the valley draw cycle. Now where this is important is most people for target archers are going to be shooting the blade rest, which is a solid, it's a little piece of wire, it's a little piece of steel with a little lizard tongue on it. Now if you get that valley and it's like you're pulling back and then it suddenly hits the big valley and you drop off, it can cause the arrow to shake and you to shake because it's such a sudden drop off. And what happens is the arrow drops off the arrow rest. It's more than common in tournaments to see people have issues with their arrow dropping off the lizard tongue, dropping off the blade rest in a tournament, which is why a lot of people will go to drop away arrow rest, because you overcome that issue. Now if you've got drop away arrow rest, the let off, suddenly dropping off's not an issue. For me, I don't like the sudden drop off. I definitely don't like it when I'm leaning the bow back down. So let's say for some reason it's windy and I can't get the shot off and I've got to let the bow back down. I don't like the sudden impact of a sharp let off on my shoulder because it hurts to let off. This bow, you could see there was no sudden impact on my shoulder leaning this bow down. I'll just do that again. So there, it's solid, solid, solid. Valley there, valley, 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 valley. It's like I've almost got an inch worth of valley at least. So there's the peak. It's easy an inch valley. And when I say a valley, it's just gradually dropping into that spot and then it's a dead stop. So we're going to shoot this shot and see how this bow feels. Now I shot an expression, and I do shoot an expression normally, but I shot an expression yesterday. I was setting up for somebody. And I shot it out here with the basic whisker biscuit on, and I felt a fair bit of vibration in the bow when I shot the bow. Now, this is where I'm going to be interested in. I'm pretty sure when I shot the 3D, and I shoot the 3D, the vibration is excellent. Now, I've got it all set up with target stabilizers, so I lose the feel of it a bit. But it's excellent. It's absolutely good. The Perform 3D, excellent as far as vibration. The draw cycle's good. This is the Perform X, which is the 40-inch version. So let's just see what this feels like to physically shoot. Now comparing it to the Perform, this bow is significantly faster than the Perform. There is limited vibration as far as I can't feel a twang after the shot. I think it pushed out. Like, it's pretty good as far as vibration. It's doing a bit of this, and you'll see the balance on this bow is top heavy. Now when I fit stabilizers to it, that's obviously going to correct it. The 3D from memory will have a better balance point than the Perform. So the 3D is a 36-inch, 37-inch bow. To me, that's got a better feel in the hand than the bigger Perform, which is designed for target. But overall, feels like the draw cycle feels pretty good, and I'm pretty excited to shoot this thing. Now, some quick things about this bow. You've got the lateral adjustment system here. So you screw it in and out, where that basically changes the position of the limbs. I'm not a fan of changing the limb position left or right. I wouldn't recommend it. It's got a wedge lock system here, which is pretty standard on the top of the line PSEs. This is all machined thing. The wedge lock system, what it is, it's a V and pushes these limbs up against this hinge system. Now what I'm going to mention on the Perform, because I kind of stuffed it up before for a customer, when you replace limbs, and don't ask me why I did it, I know why I did it, I was shimming their cams. This here, this little bolt here on the side, pushes this metal limb pocket up against the limb, and on the edge here there's a little hole, there's a little plastic grommet which fits in between, which pushes into this hole here. So it's like a little plastic washer, so when you push it up against the limb, it holds the limb in place. So if you're going to take these limbs off this bow, you've got to loosen that bolt there, because they're actually held on. So when you go to take the limbs out, there's no issue, they'll pull out. But to fit new limbs in, ensure this bolt there, I'll try and focus in on the bolt, make sure that bolt there is loosened left and right, because it'll actually sort of spring it open a bit, so then it takes the pressure off and there's no problem. So you can replace these little plastic lugs, which I had to, but I've kind of stuffed that up twice now. So just because I think I've done it twice, and I just once was like 6 months ago or 8 months ago, I just forgot. So now why did I shim the bows? On the 3D version, which is kind of interesting because I think this one's a little bit different. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I'll try and zoom up as far as I can. So on the 3D version, on this side here there was one washer, and on this side there was a big washer, and then I think 3 washers on this side here. So we moved one thin washer from this side to that side to reduce cam lean. Now on the this is a dual pull system, so this is pulling on the cam to stop cam lean, and each poundage limb is a different poundage to avoid cam lean. But basically on both bows I just moved one washer, one thin washer from that side to that side. The washers are about paper thickness, and that got rid of cam lean. Now I shoot a 3D. I haven't done that with my bow, and I've shot very good scores with it. Because if the cam is leaning, it's going to be leaning the same every single time, and I haven't actually looked at it. But I did it with both bows I had here for customers. So yeah, so that was just moving one washer from that side. And Matthews have the same sort of concept with their top hat system, where you basically move the position of this wheel here. But this bow, the Perform, has 2 washers on this side, which is exactly the position which I had them set on for the other 2 customers. 2 washers on the left hand side. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. So 18 meters with a hunting sight. Let's go and shoot this thing, and let's see what sort of group I get. Let's hope it was better than the drive which I shot the other day, which I didn't shoot very well. I wasn't that impressed with myself and my own ability to shoot that bow. I would have liked to see them all in the 10, and they weren't. So let's see if I can put them all in the 10 with the Perform, with a hunting setup and Whisker Biscuit. Okay, so I've sighted the Perform in at 18 meters of shot. It took me about 6 shots to get in, and it was extremely frustrating for me. Worst experience ever. As far as the whole sight just slid down, so then I had to reset it, then go to walk down there, see where the arrows were. Then I moved the sight pin, I moved it too much. So basically I've hit the center once. So I've hit 110. I'm like, let's take this video. So let's go and shoot this thing. Now, I had a question from a person who brought one about the position of the limbs. So as far as the numbers on the limbs, so I'll try and get them right. So the left hand top number is 154, I think it is, and top left hand. Top right hand's 160. 160. Bottom bottom left hand is 159 and bottom right hand is 161. Now those numbers, like a number one is, it's a deflection number, how much it deflects. They're not equivalent to pounds, so it's not like one side's, you know, so many pounds heavier than the other side. It's not the case. It's a minor difference between the limbs. So it doesn't matter if your limb is 155 and mine's 154. No, it doesn't, because that's nothing difference. What matters is the order of the limbs to stop the cam lean, and you can basically change the order of the limbs to eliminate cam lean. So that's the purpose of the PSE system. Each limb's a different poundage to avoid cam lean. So, all right, so we're ready to do this. Now I would say, because I have shot the 6 shots, sighting this bow in, I shot 2 shots, I think up close. I would say the Perform 3D is a nicer bow to shoot. Less shock, just feels a bit nicer in the hand to shoot than the full-on Perform, the 40-inch version, and that's because of the balance of the bow. Now to me, when I aimed, it didn't sit in the middle of the center, so it wasn't as easy as some of the other bows I had to aim. But let's see how it goes. Like, it does sit in the middle of the target, the pin, but the pin is light green, and I do have trouble seeing it in the light conditions where I am now. So I think I'm moving around a little bit to see if it's in the middle, but it doesn't hold too bad. I mean, it's an easy draw cycle. I mean, how does it compare to other bows to shoot? Like, it feels pretty good. I'm thinking now it's probably aiming just as well as anything else I've shot. Now I've sort of settled in, got the sights right, I'm not worried about where the arrows are going. I'm sort of focused more on hitting the center now. And I feel the arrows are going in the middle. I can't see whether they are or aren't going in the middle, but they feel like good shots. I feel like when their shots went off, they're in the middle. So I think they're on the right hand side of the target, but you can see better than I can see, but feels good. I hit an arrow, so that must have been good. I don't know really what to say. I tend not to think much about tuning a bow. I get lots of questions about tuning, like I got several last night about tuning a bow. Like this bow, literally I just put together in a couple of minutes. It's more about me shooting the bow in the middle. Like I do eventually will I paper tune this bow? Maybe, maybe not. I will bare shaft tune. I will do that to check how it is, and I'll do a video on that, and I'll probably do a video on paper tuning to make sure it's perfect, but I didn't with my last bow. I focus generally more on myself shooting than the equipment. But it feels pretty good. It feels better than the Expression. It feels heavier than the Expression, which is funny because I don't even have the stabilizers on it yet. So, but with the Expression, I added weight to the riser to make the bow heavier, to try and make me more stable. So, I think that time I got a little bit of left and right wobble in the shot afterwards. But it all feels easy. The shots come out easy, the draw's easy, the release is easy. That one wobbled around a little bit. I'm going to say it's the easiest of the target bows I've shot. And when I say target bows, the Prevails, the TRXs, the Expression, you know, the Supra, this just feels easier. I probably think the 3D I've been shooting is 50 pounds. That's easier than this because this is 60. And that's got the stabilizers on it. That's my arrow, so let's go down and see where they landed. So I'm up here at the target. I've got up and down movement. I can't get my fingers all around the arrows. Left and right is pretty good. They'd all be within inside the 10 ring, but they vary from a low 9 to a high 8. So I've got a little bit of up and down movement. Looks a similar group to the drive I shot the other day, so it could be purely me. Well, it is me. But yeah, I shot a cheap Chinese bow the other day and I shot them all in 10, so that's a little bit disappointing that I didn't shoot better with this bow. That's how it goes. It feels like there's 2 or 3/8. 3/8 up top touching the others. I mean, if I exclude the low 9, my fingers do fit around that group, and so if my sight was a little bit higher, they would be generally all 10s. So that's, you know, part of the sight setting. So I do have one low 9 out of 7 arrows. But that's not too bad. I kind of like them to be better, but that's okay. I think the 3D probably shot better because of the balance. I think probably the balance throws it off a little bit, but overall I'm relatively happy with that, and I kind of say that loosely. I would like them to all be in the gold. So let's go and shoot it through the chronograph and let's see what sort of speed we get. We're out here to chronograph the Perform X. So the Perform X is set at 29 inches at 60 pounds. I'm shooting in gold tip velocities. These are 330 grain arrows. I've got a 90 grain point, and the Perform X 3D, which is about 4 feet per second faster, shot at a speed of 312. So now we'll see sort of what sort of speed this bow shoots. And that's a 305. Another 305. And that's a 301. So around that sort of speed. Now this bow is chronographed, I think, about 4 to 6 feet per second slower than 3D, and we're getting speeds 305 versus a 312. So it's about right. So overall, my analysis of the Perform versus the 3D and just the Perform in general, I think the bow looks pretty. The colors are really nice. I think the Perform 3D is a nicer bow to shoot than the Perform. However, saying that, which bow am I going to shoot? I'm going to shoot the Perform. because I'm generally I am a target archer, and I'm looking for the ultimate in accuracy, so I'm looking for that longer axle length. And now I'm going to go shoot some scores with this bow and see how my scores compare with what I've been shooting with the 3D over the past month or so. So I'm going to be interested to see what those results are, and I'll post those as we go. But if you're just shooting both in the shop, I'm sure you'll prefer the 3D. So I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and I'll just grab my poodle. And this is my poodle who comes out to shoot with me, and she's by my side all the time. So I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Enjoy your archery, and the more you shoot, the better you shoot, and hopefully you enjoy it. And don't stress too much about it. The more you stress, the worse you'll shoot. So anyway, enjoy your archery. Thanks for watching. Bye.